Hey, this is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in Ubongo 3D. So this is a game where, with a little bit of time pressure, you're trying to fit specific shapes, these nice, I think they're resin, they might be resin, polyomino shapes, 3D polyomino shapes. You're trying to fit them onto your card in a specific configuration. You can see this kind of the outline. You have to fit it within that outline, and it must be exactly 2 blocks tall, or two cubes tall. You can see that here. There are a couple of things that I like about this game quite a bit. One of them, which is my favorite mechanism, but there are some others that I thought about since deciding on my favorite mechanism that I also really like. But I think my favorite mechanism is that no matter the difficulty, and there are 4 levels of difficulty of cards, no matter the configuration, the tokens, or the shapes that you need to use, the height always needs to be 2 cubes tall. And I really like that they did this. I like that across the entire game, the height is consistently 2. Because as you're trying to figure out this puzzle, especially in real time, you will have moments, or at least I had moments, where I was like, this can't possibly be it. The height can't be 2. It needs to be something else. But as a global rule, it is always 2. And I really love that they locked in this consistency, that they didn't change the height for different puzzles. I think that really helps. It helped probably them as a designer figure out what configurations are we going to offer to players. And also, I think it really helps players to never have to break outside of that rule, to always have that constraint within the game. Beyond that, I mean, that's the core of the game. But beyond that, there is a timed element to the game. And it does one of my favorite things with games that have timers. When you start each round, you flip a timer. That's fairly standard, I think, in timed games. However, the first player to complete their puzzle flips the timer back the other way, to the other side. And this is one of my favorite things about games that have timers, where there's an element of player control as to when exactly the timer is flipped for the end of the round, basically. I think that's so clever. I think that's really, really clever that the game does that, because it gives players a little bit of flexibility. It doesn't mean that there isn't a set amount of time, and it also scales per difficulty. There are more difficult levels that might take a little bit more time, and so having the player control, or the first player in this case, control when that timer is flipped, I think is really clever. In addition to that, within that time frame, no matter, even if you're the very last player to complete the puzzle, if you complete it, you get a random token. You get some points token from, or a point token from a bag. So you're drawing a random point token from the bag. The point is, no matter what, no matter when you finish, as long as you finish within the time constraint, you get a reward. I really like this. There are benefits to being the first player. There's benefits to being the second player. But for every other player, they're still getting something out of it if they complete the puzzle. There's another game that I can think of that has this kind of this style of game where you were trying to complete a puzzle, where if you don't complete it, if you aren't the first, even if you're not the first or maybe even the second player to complete it, you don't get anything. You're out. And I in a game like this, once I start the puzzle, I really want to try to finish it. I want to have the chance to try to finish it, even if there's a little bit of a time constraint, so I'm not just sitting there for 30 minutes trying to solve a really difficult puzzle. But taking that ability away from me to have an incentive to finish it all, or the ability to finish it all, I'm not a big fan of. And so I really like in Ubongo 3D that within that time constraint, I am rewarded if I do finish the puzzle at all. Let me know if you played Ubongo 3D or any of the other Ubongos. I believe there's a bunch of other ones available on the market. But I really enjoyed this one. I like the puzzle of it. I like that consistent height, and I liked the timed elements that I mentioned. Let me know what your favorite mechanism is in the comments below. Thanks.